Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your client's money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?
Alright, so hi guys, welcome back to the Greedy Trader channel. I haven't put out a video in a couple of days, so this has been my first one I think for the past 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I've just been busy basically. So yeah, it does take a bit of time to make these videos and put them out here and so on. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is where we talk about all things market profile. I think it's important that people start to get a handle on the way institutions think and what they use to trade. Of course, there are a ton of stuff out there, not disputing that. Usually, it's my experience with trading, most people are in this for the excitement. They don't want to make money. They probably have pretty good jobs. They probably have a bit of money in some cases. There are, not discrediting the few people who are looking for a way out of a pretty tough system in life. But the vast majority of people who gravitate to trading sometimes are not really doing this because they want to learn how to trade. They're doing this for fun. And that creates a bit of a problem. And that's because if you're doing something for fun, you are not likely to take it seriously and you're going to seek excitement and joy around it. And that means you're going to be looking for, you know, people doing cartwheels, crazy stuff in general. If you are serious about making money, then you will take a completely different approach. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you've been following my videos on the channel and I've covered some assets, I've done this deliberately. I've showed you as much as I'm willing to show you behind the curtain. And that's generally to give people a very good sense of my own authenticity in how I come into trading. Now, all of that said, you need to find your own authenticity, right? So basically, you need to sit and think about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and indeed is even looking at social media to find the best traders, even something that you want to keep engaging in. Okay. This whole video is not going to be a lecture, but I think today I was very keen to kind of talk about a lot about why I do this and some of the things I've got going on around this, and essentially how I'm here having this conversation with you. Now, if I think back, I've had a pretty much long sort of career in finance and all of that stuff, and to be fair, a lot of the money is made on the sell side of the business. So essentially people who are deceiving other people into taking trades or signing up for platforms or whatever the case may be. One of the things that I've been very conscious of, and this is why I'm not exactly hugely popular on social media, if you're watching this video, you're probably one of maybe 50 people who are going to see this video, right? So I've got a really small audience. But one of the reasons I've got a really small audience is because I genuinely focus on my trading. I don't have a huge marketing arm to, run around telling people I made 2 million a month or something like that. I just don't have that. So reality is that, and quote unquote, just for some clarity here, I don't make 2 million a month. So that's outside of the point. So, and again, whilst this stuff sounds very exciting, oh, that guy makes 2 million a month, we have to think about the journey from where a trader will be to the point where they make 2 million a month, and you know, what were those intersections? You don't know, right? And that means that what are the chances that you are going to make 2 million a month if you don't already have, say for example, 15 or 20 million, right? Because maybe the person telling you they made 2 million a month already made 2 million because they've got 15 or 20 million, for example. It could be outside money. It could be they've deceived a hell of a lot of people into believing that they're going to make 2 million a month, and now that person has done this successfully enough that they actually have 15 or 20 million, right? So there is a lot of questions, I think, when we think about trading and how it all works. And you know, if you're honest with yourself, depending on how long you've been doing this, then you could probably see the potential for you, maybe as a trader, to quit your job if you're working incredibly hard, and perhaps even replace that income as a trader. But again, you seeing beyond that in the beginning, it's just crazy. It's great to think big, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge advocate for the magic of thinking big. But I'm also a realist. What are the chances you're gonna quit your job at Target or some other outlet? I mean, if you're in Europe, let's say you're in the UK, I mean, what chances you're gonna quit your Sainsbury's job, or you know, quit your job as a, you know, I don't know, mid-level accountant or something, and then become a trader and then pretty much go on to make $1 million a year? Maybe you've deposited 20 grand in your trading account, for example. It's just not feasible. I think, you know, if you've got in excess of, you know, 10-15,000 US dollars in your investment account or your trading account, it is very possible for you to finish the year with a fairly decent return, right? And that would, when I say return, you know, I mean, if you most people trade leveraged assets, so it's not like they sit there trading their cash money. You know, they're all getting leverage from the futures market. So in theory, if you've got a 15 to 20k account, you know, even if your leverage is 4 times that much, then it just means that you're going to have access to more liquidity, right? So 10k is 40k, or you know, if the brokers wanted to give you like, you know, massive leverage, then 10k could be equivalent of 100k, right? So you're now using debts to acquire money, and that's where it gets tricky, because you have to be good. And yes, if you're really good, then you could potentially multiply that debt. And it's the same thing if you're buying real estate. You put a deposit, you know, 20% deposit, whatever it is, and you know, let's say that's 20 grand, then you know, bank gives you 200 odd grand, or you know, I don't know, maybe bank, depending on the country you live in, maybe bank gives you 80 grand, right? And so now you can go and buy a house that, you know, you wouldn't be able to afford with your 20 grand, but now you own one, and you wait for the price to rise, right? And then when it rises, you sell. If you know, if this is like a business for you, you sell, and then, you know, now you've made some profit, and that could equate to maybe, I don't know, maybe a 30-40% return on initial capital, right? Depending. So we did see this in 2008 or pre-2008, where there was huge growth in some elements of real estate, and depending on the area, right, or the country. I mean, if you're a bit worldly like myself, then it could be emerging markets, for example, where we know housing values, you know, they pretty much 10x. Actually, what am I saying? You know, in some cases they're more than 10x. So it all really depends, right? So it is very possible to make tons and tons of money through leverage, but then you got to be good, and just as much as you can make tons of money, you could lose all of your money there and then, and that's because your 10 grand is what it is. It's all that's up, right? Whilst the upside is infinite, technically speaking, your 10 grand is not infinite, and that means that it could go. And that is what the sell side or the intermediaries work on as a principle to take your money, is that they know there's going to be a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, and they're going to come into leverage trading because that is what's been put in front of you. And if I'm fair to myself right now, I'm talking to you about leverage trading, basically. And that's because, this is the pathway that all of us went down, regardless. And then maybe you pivoted and adjusted, but you still know that the honey is in the leverage trading. So then now it becomes a question of being able to properly risk manage. So let's think about, let's talk about some of the things that make me, at least, my hubristic self, what makes me good at what I'm doing, right? So I suppose those are the points that people want to know is, okay, what makes you special? So the first thing for me, right, and this is what I say to anyone, my clients, again, because I run somewhat of an advisory, I focus a lot on giving clients the tools, the understanding to generate a return stream for themselves, right? I also give new traders the ability to come in within a couple of weeks, really level up, and head down a path to being a successful professional style trader. Because again, if you've got a regular job, this has to work around that, and the quote-unquote becoming a professional trader looks a little bit different than someone who's perhaps not got a regular job and wants to do this full-time and can afford to do it full-time, right? So I work with different sets of people around this aspect, but what makes me, what rule I should say is my number one rule is, first and foremost, think a lot about the market as a place where people just fuck up. That's the first thing. You start to understand that, then you start to understand your own return stream. Secondly, don't use the tools that others are using. So if you go on the internet and someone is doing breakout strategies, if you go on the internet and you find someone join a few trend lines and broke down here and I did this and did that, or you watched a YouTube video of a trader telling some guy that's interviewing them on how they're so successful, and they say, hey, look, it's really simple, I still just do this strategy every goddamn day. Don't stay away from people like that. And that's another rule, is that stay away from that external influence, right, that is going to create a degree of dissonance, right? We don't want that. So that's the other thing. If you see someone online propagating a particular idea, right, or you see multiple people, because usually it's multiple people validating your ideas or your thought processes, that's what we call an echo chamber, right? There's loads and loads and loads of guys claiming to be professionals telling you, do it this way, do it that way, do it this way, do it that way. What are the chances that that's going to work, right? Considering we have a sell side that is very deceptive. Now, and then ask yourself, well, what do these people benefit, right? Because, the benefit in, teaching, you guys how to trade is, it's not a lot of it, it's not a massive benefit. So what benefit do they get? Well, clearly the sell side has to be involved to some degree in their funding. In fact, you have to start asking yourself, how did these guys get so good and get so much reach if this hasn't been somehow funded by the sell side, that someone is going to benefit from all of this? And that's how they're getting all this reach. Think about the world we live in. There's data protection everywhere. That people, you're not going to get anybody's email or phone number just out of the bat. So, either these people are spending astronomical amounts of money to reach you, or the sell side is literally taking the data you have, so your brokerage accounts, all that information, all that personal stuff you have on yourself, and they're handing it to these guys so that they can come in and teach you stuff that is going to benefit the sell side. This is not a conspiracy theory, guys. I used to be on the sell side. I'm trying not to be blatantly explicit, so as not to implicate, hence why I tend to be very anonymous, because I like to say what I want to say, and if people know who I am ultimately then they can probably track back to where I was, and that could have other, you know, connotations for the people that I, you know, used to do stuff for. So, you know, to avoid all of that, you know, I want to still have a degree of freedom of speech. You know, I try and stay a bit low key, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, someone's going to find out something soon enough anyway. But reality is reality. These people are going to be using your information, your data. And that's how they're getting popular and they're getting famous. And that's how everyone's seeing them. And that's how everyone's believing the story that they're telling. I think I'm joking. I'm not kidding. Right, so for me, if everyone's doing it, then that's not what you ought to be doing. Right? Second. So that's the other thing. You want to avoid being sucked into the crowd, right? This business is largely about deceiving a large amounts of people in order for a few to profit. That's the name of the game, right? So that's the other thing, you know. And this stuff will save you a lot of money, and this is just all conceptual. The third thing that I always say to guys is that if you want to do this, you need to start understanding positioning data. You need to understand where people are positioned, right? Positioning data is crucial. If you don't know where people are positioned, then how are you ever gonna, you know, the name of the game is getting everyone to pay the most expensive price to whoever is getting them to pay the most expensive price. That's the name of the game. Or if the market is going lower, it's to put enough fear and panic into people so that they get out of the asset, they sell at the cheapest possible price. That's it. That's the name of the game. So if the name of the game is that, then you need to know positioning data. So essentially, where are the biggest players positioned? Well, how do you find that? Well, that's kind of why we exist, and that's why I exist as a business framework. So for me, my overall business is not to deceive you to open up trading accounts or deceive you to start learning some rubbish and just tactics or whatever, you know, trend lines, pivot points, or anything like that. That's not why I'm here. My job is to ensure that you get a return stream, so you know the technology to use to achieve that. You have the right ideas to achieve that. And that's how you are going to be able to take a step forward. Now, if you're a big investor and probably don't want to trade as much, you don't have time for that. I don't solicit outside money, so I will essentially show you how to have an automated setup that you can take care of, right? And you know, that's it. You get your return stream, and it's all based on the single ideas, those three single things that we've just discussed. And that is essentially what we do here. So, you know, I like to keep things pretty darn simple, to be fair. So for those of you guys who are probably gonna maybe watch this, maybe pop out on my website, for example, you can see that I kind of keep it all pretty simple, right? This is me, right? Generally speaking, I talk about market profile. It is a hack, guys. It will cut down the man hours, and if you're looking to learn a trade, handle your portfolio, you're a portfolio manager, maybe you manage a portfolio for others, then you can find out a lot about me. We've got a Discord server, just pop in, right? And that's pretty much it. It's simple. So you can see our main business, Badger Hive Advisory. You know, you can see that I help newer traders from the School of Investing, and all our strategies and ideas are based off you know, what professionals have done on the mercantile exchange, right? So it's pretty simple. We want you to stop tinkering and genuinely want you to start trading more, right? I'm interested in crypto, like most people. This is a very interesting asset class, very low float, and positioning data is really easy to get hold of. And essentially, you can see that got a link to my YouTube channel. my portfolio, the cryptos that I will generally talk about and explain to people why these are the ones that I pay the most attention to, and this is where a large portion of my portfolio will be. In fact, this is all I'm going to be looking at. I tend not to get sucked into the meme stuff. Yes, you can get some zeros, but depending on how much money you're putting into that, it could be potentially an issue, right? So, you know, we don't really want to get people trapped up in terrible stuff. You know, I wrote a book which is largely about macro analysis because I felt that has to be the bedrock. Yeah, I got a trading journal, both available on Amazon. And for guys who want to get deeper, I run what's called a transformation program, right? So essentially, in my opinion, it's the only course that you're ever going to need, right? I take you through 10 or 12 weeks intense training. I teach you live, you know, so one-on-one if you prefer. Yeah, I can teach people as a group, but I like to have my attention on one singular person. But I can teach you one-on-one. It's a masterclass in my opinion, because I just take you through the whole thing. There's no point in wasting time. Yeah, I could, you know, I've got some smaller stuff that is kind of entry level, you know, on different platforms, you know, with royalties like Udemy, for example, or some of the other platforms. So you'll find some stuff there around me. But my core program, which allows me to take you from point A to point D, literally, I can do that in a very short space of time because, again, I don't see the point in wasting time, right? You're either going to know, you're not going to know. And for guys who want to get a little bit deeper and kind of understand how I, you know, focus on return streams and, you know, how I can make that work, the technology, you know, there are a lot of people just want to get you setting up accounts, right? Oh, grab this MT4. If you know what can be done with MT4, then you probably stay away from it. You know, I've got MT4 on here, but what the hell? It's not my day-to-day, right? Depending on, this is just for data. Right? That's why, you know, it's for data. Sure, I would put a trade on here and there, but that's because I've got some serious data tools, right? But again, I'm not getting caught up in it. Like, you know, where my core positioning is going to happen is I got better technology for that. You know, I might do a trade here or there on a MetaTrader because I want to show you guys something, but where the real action happens for me is in the professional stuff. Right, so you can see here, right? That's fucking spaceship. Sorry guys, you know, this is it, right? So, you know, this is how I stay focused, right? This is how I, you know, this is where the real deal is, right? You know, you guys following my videos, you know, I sell option premium. You know, I'm active in the option space, and this is what I talk about when I talk about return stream, right? So I can get, you know, I help my clients have the right sort of technology set up in the right way. All of this stuff is, you know, I'm running here with TWS. It's complicated, right? If you want to get this setting up and working properly, you know, it might take you 3 months reading the manual, right? So this is one of the technologies that we use, you know, to kind of generate a return stream. You know, I also have Sierra charts as well, right? I've got a market profile coded from MetaTrader because it's just clean, and, you know, some data I don't want to actually pay for, to be fair. But again, I have Sierra charts, so if I need to go, you know, I need to get anal, I can get anal. I can take advantage of any asset class, right? Whether it's you know, one thing Sierra is good for, I can access this profile data on cryptocurrency, for example, right? I can access profile data on other type of futures products, right? And I can do more automation if I wanted to for my trades, right? Connecting that, you know, through API into TWS. Now, this is the stuff that makes me good at what I do, right? It's technology, right? So technology is key. No one ever talks about the technology, and you want to know why? It's because they want to sell you into MetaTrader accounts, or they want to sell you into some other types of accounts. Now, some of you guys know that for the CFD stuff. Some of you guys know the platform I use for that. It's not, you know, it's not even MetaTrader, and I've explained time and time again why I use that platform. And that's because it's nothing special, but that's because I want to do like advanced profit management, for example, right? Which is incredibly difficult to do on MetaTrader. How can I do that properly? Well, so MetaTrader is great for data, right? So I get free data on lots of different, especially if I'm trading currencies. I get some great free data. Look, got nice data on Bitcoin, right? I've got Bitcoin on a profile. It's easy to get here. But what if I wanted data on some of the other stuff? You know, I can't get data. I just can't get data, right? You know, I've had some awesome positioning, right? Some awesome trades, right? You know, and reality is reality, right? If I can't get the data, I just can't get data, right? So it's just what it is, right? This stuff I'm watching, right? Look at that. I'm in this position, right? That's why you got this hazy green there. It just tells you my line of entry, right? You know, I was long this thing from here, right? It's crazy, right? But that's the problem, right? You know, you want to be able to assess in terms of positioning data, right? You know, yeah, you're seeing this trade here now for DHR, but you know, on the flip side, I kind of had to, you know, I had to synthesize as to whether I wanted to get into this, and that means I have to be able to have this on a profile, right? So again, guys, this is just what I'm talking about. So yeah, this video feels a little bit like, you know, I just want to take some time to rant about it and just let people know that you're being deceived, right? And you need to come over from the dark side, right? That's kind of where all the money is made. It's on the sell side, you know. So yeah, I can safely tell you guys I'm not winning any brownie points by sitting here and telling you this. You know, like I said, I'm not particularly concerned because right now, I'd be lucky if even 50 people see this video, right? You know, I've done great posts on here. Yeah, it's some really useful information, but maybe they get like 20 or 30 views, you know, whatever. I've got videos that have done like thousands and thousands of views. If I'm talking about something popular, right? So if I'm connecting it to a popular thread, you know, if I'm showing people, you know, how to set up your, you know, your depth of market, for example, on CO charts, you know, I'll get like a ton because, you know, I get a ton of views or interest is because it's a thread that points to something that is becoming increasingly popular. Yeah, but you don't learn anything, right? You can have all the domes you want, but if you don't know how to use them, then what now? Or you're going to go to some sell side guy to teach you how to use them, and then he's just going to get you opening up accounts and, you know, in a place that's going to, you know, put an end to you. But anyway, guys, this video is bordering on 30 minutes now. I promise, you know, in future videos we'll go back to talking about the profile and the action that's going on. But today I think it was important just to highlight, you know, why we're here, why we do this. And yeah, to my next video, guys. Adios.
Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No.
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April week. What do you think, Valentine?